Snoid.
You always said, I'm probably not going to get married. I definitely don't want kids. With your devotion to comedy, do you think a wife would have gotten in the way of that? Would that have shifted your focus to the point that you couldn't be funny in a way?
I guess so, but that's not why I never got married. I
No?
mean, it's funny, as I listen to you, you know, as we've repaired our relationship,
Yes.
one of the nice things about it is I've been able to listen to you. Also, you're in the car always now.
Right.
So it's fantastic. And,
Yeah.
you know, I really enjoy it. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And,
I'm of you.
And
Yeah.
what I find is that we're alike in so many ways, except that way.
Right.
You know, you asked me if is it the career that would hurt the marriage? No, it's not that. It's just that I never understood how, I mean, I've tried to have relationships. I've been in love. I've known some amazing couple.
Right.
Women.
Some not so amazing. But they
a
look
lot of
great.
women, and I thought were amazing.
Yeah.
But I never understood how you can be with the same person just day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. I just don't get that.
Oh my God,
But-
I find it so
I know you do.
wonderful
Yes,
and relaxing,
right.
and that I don't feel that pressure.
Right.
And you know how weird it is to bring somebody new into your life. I mean, yes, there's an excitement.
He's used to it.
Yeah. No, but don't you seriously worry that like somebody could like you know go to the press about something happens and you know what I mean? I mean, yes, you're
First of all-
you're not an idiot and you're not going to bring in some maniac.
First of all, if you're a nice person and
Yeah.
treat people well, that's much less of a concern. Most people who get in trouble, it's because they do schmucky things. And that's not to say people can't take a shot at you just because they see you're an easy target. People do that all the time, and I'm aware of that. But you can't live your life worrying about what bad shit might happen.
That's true. But you love being alone. You
Love
have said
it.
that. You love it. In other words, you wake up in the
Right.
morning, you're happy to be by yourself.
Correct.
And if something funny hits you, you can write it down. You can go.
I
your
like
day-
all my time to decide what to do with all my time.
What's your day to day? Because because I like your schedule in my mind that you'll do stand up maybe on a weekend.
Right.
Most comedians I speak to do not
Yes.
love hitting the road.
Oh, no.
Is it possible in your career now, at the point that you're at, because you're well known on TV, you're famous? Can you bomb on a given night?
No.
No.
Can't bomb because the people who come, first of all, I'm doing this 40 years.
Yeah.
You don't bomb. But the people who come to see you are people who paid a hard money ticket. That's the only place I work. I get offered lots of things. I don't want to work corporate gigs.
Why?
Because I'm not a corporate person. I get these calls and the money is outrageous.
Right. It's like triple what you'd normally make in a night.
I don't care what the money is. That's another great thing about being this age. You cannot buy me.
Right.
Time is so much more important than money to me. To get me to do something, you could offer me millions of dollars to go to Dubai and do a show. No. Millions of dollars will not change my life. I'm a simple guy.
Right.
You know, people say, how'd you get enough money to buy into the Mets?
You have no overhead.
I said, no wives,
Right.
no alimony,
No college,
children,
yeah.
no stupid hobbies.
What? I know.
I'm not
no car collecting.
No car collecting, no jewelry, no bling, no hookers, no heroin, no gambling.
A little weed.
I just like what I like. Weed, and people give me weed. I never have to buy weed.
You're perfect.
It's true.
Oh my God.
You know, I went to the inauguration of Donald Trump, which was one of the hardest days of my
Can I tell
life,
you
to be
something?
honest.
I am consumed with that. I was thinking about you that day. I was watching you more than I was watching Trump. First of all, I don't even know how you get past. You got 3 million more votes than the guy.
I did, right.
In my mind, you won the election. The Electoral College, I can't explain that. I think it was for some farmer who felt that his rights were going to be denied. But the majority of the people in the country voted for you.
You're right.
You got the job done.
Right.
When you're standing there watching this guy, what the hell is going through your head? Are you just, I would imagine you were on antidepressants that day.
You know, here's how I felt about it. I mean, obviously, I was crushed. I was disappointed. And I was really surprised because I couldn't figure out what had happened.
And you hadn't even written a losing speech when you lost that night. You had only had victory in mind.
No, and everything was pointed in that direction. So when he's going to be inaugurated, I was going as a former first lady.
Right.
That was the reason I was there. I was no longer in the Senate. I was secretaries of state don't usually attend, so I was.
But your
go.
sense of duty is, my husband was president, I was first lady, and this is what we say to the country. There's continuity.
That is exactly how I felt, and a lot of people said to me, "Don't put yourself through that. Don't go." And I said, look, I ran for president because I love this country. I wanted to serve this country. I thought I would have been a really good president. I want him
you would have been spectacular.
Well,
with
I
all
hope
your
so.
experience.
Yeah, I hope
foreign
so.
affairs.
Yep. But
would you be crushing NATO right now? I don't think so.
No, we need them. But
so you're standing up there.
So I said to myself, I said to everybody who talked to me about it, look, I hope he's going to be a better president than I think he will be. I'm worried about it, but I'm going to do everything I can. As I told him when I called him, that terrible night. And
you
said,
did call him that
I
night.
did. I said, look, Donald, I want you to be a good president. I will do whatever I can to help you. So, we're in that period.
Was he gracious or was he a sore winner?
He was so shocked he couldn't, he could barely
form a
talk.
sentence.
He was as shocked as you.
Right.
He was more shocked than me, I think.
Wow.
But,
he was shocked.
Yeah, he was shocked.
All right.
And so when I got there, go ahead, get out there. You put on the best face possible. And Bill and I are sitting with George and Laura Bush. And then he started on that speech, which was so bizarre. And that's when I got really worried. I thought, wait a minute.
This isn't rational.
It's not rational, but it's also it's not politics. It's not what a president does. A president is supposed to try to reach out to people who weren't for him or her. You're supposed to say, okay, I'm going to be the president of everyone, those who supported me and those who didn't, because we're going to pull the country together. I'd hoped that I would hear a little of that. I didn't hear any of that. And then that carnage in the street and the dark dystopian vision, I was sitting there like just, wow, couldn't believe it. And George W. Bush says to me, well, that was some weird shit.
Wow.
Has anyone officially welcomed you to Los Angeles?
No, that's your job.
I'm going to do that now.
Do it. All right,
yeah,
please.
I officially welcome you to Los Angeles, to the paradise of the world.
Okay? You love LA.
Because, Jimmy, you didn't welcome him.
I know. I was waiting. I wasn't governor.
You're going to do it. You're going to do it on your show.
I will welcome him on the show.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
saving that for you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's so silly. I mean, welcome me to LA. When you think about it, I mean, so I'm
Why
here
is
in
it
LA.
silly?
Because I could do the same show in New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But it's still great to have you here. I'm ecstatic when I heard that you're coming to LA. I said to myself, I want to be on his show when he comes to LA.
First of all,
fantastic.
You are the greatest guy to do this for me. Seriously, I'm being serious. Jimmy too. I mean, the fact that you guys would even care to get up this early and come over here and do it.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, seriously.
We love you, Howard.
You do?
Are you kidding me? No, every single time I've done an interview with you, we had a great time, and the reaction of the people afterwards was always fantastic. Why? Because you are a great fucking interviewer.
Thank you.
I mean, you're just a natural. You don't, write down the questions and you kind of come up like a program. Tell me now, when did you start working out? Okay, what was it like when you grew up with your father? I heard he was very disciplinarian. This is all bullshit, right? So you kind of developed like this last hour. I've been driving in here from Santa Monica, and I've been listening to you guys.
To Jimmy.
It is such a pleasure to listen to you guys talk, because it's a natural talk that guys do when they hang out in the gym or at home, or when you smoke a stogie or something like that,
right?
Or play chess. That's how you talk.
You playing chess these days?
Yeah.
I want to play with you. I mean, you'll kick my ass, but I want to have a game with you.
I'm not that good. I just love playing.
I said about you in the book, and I really do believe this about you, Governor, that the fact is, the way I relate to you is we both had this insane drive to be known to the world. I really do feel that. I was on a mission to somehow stand out, to be seen. And I feel both of us really had that need inside of us to be seen. Am I accurate about that?
You're absolutely correct. I think that we both have, I think we all three can say that we have the same drive.
Not like the two of you, but yeah,
Oh, come on now.
No, are we?
No, I'm driven. You're absolutely right. I mean,
are we narcissists, you and I?
No.
What are we?
We just like to shoot for the top.
Did we?
I mean, and one of my rules to success when I give seminars and lectures about motivational speeches and stuff like that is shoot for the top. Don't go and shoot for something little. And this is why I always say, when I was getting into acting, I did not want to be an actor. I wanted to be a leading man. I wanted to be the highest paid entertainer. I wanted to be above the title. That's what I was shooting for. Why shoot for something little?
Right.
When in bodybuilding, I didn't want to be Mr. Universe. I wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
You've been almost a victim of the casting couch. You said at one point in your career, you were I don't know where you were at in your career, some producer invited you to his
It was
house.
my first audition ever.
Oh my God.
I had just turned 19. I might have still been 18. I had never been out for an audition. I asked this modeling agent if she heard of anything, like I was going to give this acting thing a try. She said, yep, go to this guy's house. It's on Saturday at 9.
Seth, all of your auditions are done at the house?
At my house on Saturdays at 9 in the morning. When you're a little foggy, your guard is down.
No, it was 9 p.m.
Oh my God.
We
just called a date.
Yeah, 9 p.m.
There should be a law against that, right? I mean, but you would think your agent or somebody.
Well, I didn't have an agent.
But you think somebody would have thought.
I don't think she had a clue either. She was just like, I guess this is what they do.
And the guy's a big deal, and he's famous.
He was a very big deal, and is still a big deal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock, you go over to audition for a film.
Yeah.
And how does that play out? What happens?
I knocked on the door, and he opened up the door, and he was in his pajamas.
Hey.
Barefoot.
First of all, why do guys think they're gonna like? Why do guys think showing your dick to someone is gonna turn them on?
It's embarrassing when any guy thinks they're sexy at all. Even sexy guys should not act as though their physical being is in any way tempting.
That can't be a good look on any level.
And by the way, I just want to clear. I mean, I don't know, Robin. Do you agree? Like, we don't want to see you just pull out your dick.
No, that's exactly right.
So you go to the guy's house.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night, and I'm sure and here he answers the door in the pajamas. Do you just turn around and say, "This guy"?
I should have. I didn't.
Pajamas are not a good look on a man.
No.
But he had a very healthy ego. He felt very good about himself. There was some kind of music playing in the house.
Oh boy.
ND music.
A lot of
never good.
Cold marble and crystal. And then we sat down and we started talking. He sat very close to me. That was strange. The drinking bothered me. I was like, doesn't feel right. I kept kind of saying, as he was asking me questions about me, I said, I've never done this. So just tell me, I have these pages. Do you want me to read these pages? And he was like, no. We're just gonna talk. Ugh. And then at one point he put his hand on my knee.
Aye.
And that's when I just went, ooh. And it's crazy. And girls talk about this where you just go blank. Like you don't know what to do. But I left. I don't even know how I got out of the house, but I left and
That's
was
amazing. That
driving because it would have ended really badly. But I was driving my Ford Fiesta that I was renting up Laurel Canyon. And I was so angry with myself that I didn't say something. You know, I was like, why? I'm not that kind of girl. Like, why did I not tell him to go fuck himself? Like, it made me so angry.
You know why? Because in the moment, if you're a decent human being, even you can't believe what's happening to you.
Yeah.
And you feel like you should be polite.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then afterwards you go, why am I so fucking polite?
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I such a good boy or good girl?
You're people get murdered because they're polite. There's books about how most people would rather not be impolite and keep themselves out of mortal danger than potentially hurt someone else's feelings.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It took me 8 years for this thing to come full circle because he offered me a job.
Whoa.
Oh.
And I went purely just to have my moment where he said, nice to meet you. And I said, no, we've met before.
Whoa.
And he had no recollection of it. And his producing partner was standing right next to him. And he was embarrassed.
Which, by the way, it shows you how many women he did it to. He doesn't even remember. It was not a one-off.
That's insane.
That is insane. The numbers. So you mean literally he now you're famous.
Yeah, had no idea.
I want to get Charlize Theron in a movie.
Yeah.
You walk in and you finally said, no, you met me and here's what happened.
And I went down the list. I said it was at 9 p.m. on a Saturday at your house. You were wearing pajamas. I went down the list.
Oh, wow.
I had my moment.
What did he say?
He said, wow, I do not remember that. And
I bet you he doesn't.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember that. Conveniently, I forgot. Oh, my God. When you just guest hosted on Saturday Night Live, you fucking killed it.
Thank you.
You elevated that show. I said this on the air.
Excellent episode. Yeah.
Thank you.
And a couple of things stuck out. You did the song about Chris Farley, which brought the place down, brought a tear to everyone's eye. It was poignant in the way that like a Bruce Springsteen song. It's like it made you miss the guy, made you think, right?
Right.
You did the monologue where you sang too.
About getting fired, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now talk to me about that.
Yes.
Don't you think psychologically? Because I was watching this thing thinking, Sandler finally had his day. Because Lorne fired you in some mysterious fucking way. And suddenly you come back to guest host after saying no for all those years. You kill it. And you're probably in the back of your mind saying, still, fuck you. Look at this.
It's like a drop the mic. There.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I didn't have any. I think I might have been like that 15 years ago.
Right.
If I came on and did well and like, yeah, I'm fucking old enough now. I realize what Saturday Night Live did for me.
But the fire, let's not downplay this.
But
the firing at the time.
At the time, I was hurt because I didn't know what else I was going to do. And I know it wasn't Lorne's decision. The NBC head dude, I know he didn't like our gang, me and Farley. And
they had a winning cast there. And you had been there for 5 years. You probably would have stayed 1 or 2 at least, maybe more.
Maybe I would have never left because... Well, I'm not good at saying goodbye.
But seriously,
they had to get rid of me sometime.
When they fired you, it really caught you by surprise.
Put a lump in my throat. Again,
everything turned out great. We know that.
Great.
We know the ending of the story. But at the time, you were livid.
I was probably sad into covering the sadness up with being mad and saying, "Yeah, fuck you," blah 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 blah. But I remember. When I saw Farley and he said, "Me too, they don't want me either." We were both like, "Fuck this shit." We got mad together, pretended we weren't sad and pretended this was for the best. But
who fired? I want to know this. Who fired you?
This is how I got fired. My manager, Sandy, he was talking to me and I said, "Yeah, next year on the show, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "Maybe you don't go back next year." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I still got a few more things." He's like, "Yeah, but you did it already." And I was like, "I did it, but, you know."
He didn't want you to know you were fired.
Yeah, it was one
to
of
make
those.
it seem like you were quit.
Your idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." He's like, "I think you thought about it."
You've done all the thinking you need to do. Because you're a leading lady, people are constantly probably telling you what to do and what not to do to not affect your career. People say don't be photographed with a girlfriend.
I used to have conversations where people would be like, if you don't want to talk about it and you don't want to define yourself, then you need to stop setting yourself up for that by going out and whatever. And it was just like, well, here's the thing. Now that question it's a ridiculous and ignorant question. And it's a sort of like violent.
Yes.
Like, okay, a friend of mine has a kid and she was like, hey, I asked my kid if he was like gay, but it was like in like the nicest, like sort of most, I was just curious. I just want to know him. I just want to be as close to him as I possibly can. And he's really young and he is really self-possessed and very clearly already feels comfortable in a way that feels fluid and cool and kind of like you don't know where it's going to go. And he was like, "This is child abuse." And I was like, it's true. It's like, you know, on some level, the sort of fervent question that was demanded of me for so long is now ridiculous.
That's true.
It's a non-starter.
But that's a Hollywood thing. I remember the days. You know, Rock Hudson was a gay man. There's a couple of guys in Hollywood who were leading men who were gay. But if the general public found out, you were fucked.
Right.
No one could accept you in a heterosexual role. Like you're an actor, you're pretending to be something. What's the difference? But yet society hadn't gotten there.
I am so coincidentally lucky to be like living in this time. And I look at literally just like kids, people 5 years younger than me have it so much easier than I did 3 years ago. Like when it was just this ridiculous, people change every day. There is no reason why anyone needs to like provide an easy narrative for other people to digest. It's like, there's no, why would I simplify something very complex just in order for you to feel more comfy? It's like, no, I don't want to diminish this like cool thing, which is like discovering yourself and your sexuality and like how that changes. Like, yeah. Why would you box that up? Yeah.
I actually really do admire your courage.
Thanks.
Because I'm old enough to remember how horrible it was when people would come out. And especially in Hollywood.
Oh man.
And
violent.
the way you're living your life is a beautiful example. You were like, hey, fuck it. I'm coming off Twilight. I can do movies. I can do this, but I'm not going to sit. I enjoy holding the person I love's hand in public.
Yeah.
Your Iron Man portrayal has become the thing. It is a huge moneymaker.
Yeah.
You still enjoy doing it, yes?
I'll tell you the truth. I didn't expect it to become what it became.
Mm-hmm.
And it is this very large, multi-headed hydra at this point. And I've always had other interests. And according to Scorsese, it's not cinema. I got to take a look at that, you know?
Well, why did he say that?
Because it's his opinion. And
but it is cinema, isn't it?
I mean, it plays in theaters.
Yeah, well, what did he mean by that it's not cinema?
I appreciate his opinion because I think it's like anything. We need all of the different perspectives so we can come to center and move on. You're therapy.
No, come on.
You're therapized.
No, you're being too nice.
Magnanimous, it's called.
No, really. Were you insulted when he said that it's not cinema? That somehow Iron Man isn't cinema? It is cinema to me.
Well, I mean, look. It'd be like saying Howard Stern isn't radio. It is. It makes no sense.
But what was he
trying?
Was he jealous of the success?
Of course not. But I mean, he's Martin Scorsese.
Then what does he mean by it?
I think in his view, and by the way, there's a lot to be said for how these genre movies, and I was happy to be part of the problem if there is one.
Right.
Were denigrated the art form of cinema. And by the way, when you come in like a stomping beast and you eliminate the competition in such a demonstrative way, it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. And maybe he's upset about you know what it is? You get older, you're used to cinema being a certain way.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Do you actually think Martin Scorsese is upset about Marvel movies?
Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. Because he's the guy who's busy archiving films, and he's
archived my dad's films. And by the way, I appreciate his point of view. Robin, what do you think?
Well, he's commenting on it.
Yeah, and why not?
I don't know. It's kind of a knock. I mean, the fact is, were you ever nominated for an Academy Award for Iron Man?
No.
Don't you think that's, and be serious.
Yeah.
Because it's a superhero movie, they turn their nose at the performance is excellent.
Well,
it is a totally believable character.
Well, I'm so glad you brought this up because there was some talk about it, and I said, let's not. And because I'm much more like you than you might really want to believe, I listen to the show. I agree with most all of your opinions, varied though they may be. Occasionally, you'll go on some tributary trail of thought that I go like, oh, that's not how I see it. But I go, but I love that you see it that way.
Didn't Paul McCartney explain a collusion and the Mueller report to John Lennon?
Well, this I do for myself. I really feel like where we are in our lives, sort of wisdom and appreciation. I want John and Paul to talk to each other.
Yes.
I don't care how. And then it became a time machine where, because John left us in 1980. So then lately I've been doing Paul McCartney explaining the Mueller to John Lennon. So what's going on down there, Paul? Oh, there was a big whoop-de-doo with the orange man, the big orange man. Who's the orange man? Trumpy, the president I told you about. He's a big orange man. He's got little white circles around his eyes. He's got like cotton candy hair that swirls about. They said maybe he's in cahoots with the Russians. In cahoots? Yeah, like doing a thing, a whoop-de-doo. So they hired this man named Mueller. He's he's a different looking gentleman. He's really narrow in the top of his head, and his cheeks go out like a big chipmunk, And they gave him like 25 million quid, to investigate. He went through 1 million pages of paper and all these interviews. And he said, I guess he's not in cahoots. They couldn't believe it. Sounds very strange. And then there was Hillary's emails. They didn't know what to do. What's an email? During the Kavanaugh hearings, when everybody was so flipped out, it just occurred to me that if Paul McCartney read the news, you'd still get the news, but it wouldn't be depressing. Because it would be in that
upbeat guy.
It'd be like, still in America. So what are they trying to do? We're trying to get a top judger man, John. Judger man. So they got this guy Kavanaugh. Seems like a nice enough bloke. Maybe a bit of a suds neck. What do you mean? We like a beer or two. And so they said, all right, you could be the top judger man. And then a bird from California says, hold on. So, he went doobly on me, And that was all. So it just makes it lighter. I don't know.
Oh, my God, that is fantastic.
I want him to do the news.
I'll do it all. Well, you can throw me a news story.
Paul, what about John? Doesn't understand the college cheating scandal at all.
Right.
He can't figure that out. He wants to know what's happening.
What happened down there? Well, all these parents went a little nutty, and they said, I got to get me a kid in the top tippity top of school, and they gave all this money. And they said, well, it's not enough. They said, what if we say they're rowers? What do you mean, rowers? Well, they like rowers in college. What does rowing have to do with college? I don't know. But if you're a rower, they'll let you in the college. So these two girls, they put them on little playful rowers you have in a room, little like your exercise rowers. And they took pictures. And the father gave $500,000. They said, could they go to college? But they didn't even want to go. Why would they put him in there if they didn't want to go? Because they already had a job. They were on Instagram. What's Instagram? Is that something Keith Moon used to snort?
In celebration of my new book that will be out on May 14th, which is, Tuesday, I'm going to reveal my favorite interview of all time.
Well, you love all the interviews, right?
Yeah, I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
How should I do this, Robin? Should I just announce that the person is on mic right now? Should I announce him? Or should I tell you why, or how do you want to do this?
I think I want to know why.
Okay. I went home after the interview and I said, this is the first time in my life I feel like I asked every question I needed to ask. I feel like I had one of the most sincere conversations, and it was so fulfilling. It was funny. It was brilliant in terms of what the guest was saying. There were moments that I picked up on things in this, and then we talked about a variety of topics.
You felt complete.
I felt complete.
That was a complete conversation. You couldn't have done it any better.
This guest has a TV show. I'll tell you that right now.
This guest has a TV show.
And on his TV show, he can't reveal, I feel, all sides of him, and I don't think people even understand how super funny he is and how insightful and how bright. And we got to know that, and I even thought, in my own delusion, I thought afterwards, oh my God, this guest and I, we're going to become like really good friends.
He's like my brother.
He's like my brother. Like he's the brother I would want. And that person is Mr. Conan O'Brien. Conan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Howard.
Conan, I always thought that, because I just want to stay on this a little bit about picking you as the favorite interview of all time. It was very organic.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake.
No, I swear.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I think, you had Paul McCartney, Billy Joel. I think you're going to regret this.
Don't you admit that sometimes you have a guest, you vibe with that person, and you think, maybe you don't experience this, but you think, oh my goodness, we just had this incredible connection, and we'll probably end up calling one another, but there's really no facility for that. And like when you left.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought,
I know what you're talking about.
I should call Conan and somehow have a relationship with him, but you never do that, right?
I don't, but I know exactly what you're talking about. For example, when you and I had that interview, I left, and this is like two people that, it's like we had sex.
Right.
And then we, and in a lot of ways, I think we did, and that day.
I agree.
And then we stumbled away from each other, and what happened was I felt, wow, I think that was really good. I really liked that interview. I really felt like I connected with Howard. And then I was in New York, and I was walking around, and people were coming up to me on the street and telling me how much that meant to them. And I thought, what are you talking about? I mean, I killed an hour with Howard. We had a good time. It felt good. But I never stopped hearing about that interview. And that's why I've been loath to talk to you since, because I've thought we're never gonna match that. So I should just get out of the business.
Well,
that's what I've been.
But that's what you've been trying to do.
Bye for now.
The Howard Stern Show.